it's Pam from Milner Gardens and Woodland, and as you can see by the color of the trees behind me, it's fall. Now I know it's fall or autumn because I looked at my calendar, but that's not the only way you can tell. At this time of year, the air starts getting crisper, the days start getting shorter, and the leaves start changing color. But why? Why do all those leaves start changing color and falling off of the trees at this time of year? We're going to talk about that in today's video. I can tell fall's coming because the air is crisper, the days are shorter, it starts raining a lot, and the plants in our forests on Vancouver Island, they feel the same things that we do. They notice the days getting shorter, they notice the air getting cooler, and that tells them the same thing it tells us, that fall is coming, it's almost autumn, and it's time to get ready for winter. So why do all those leaves fall? Well, to start with, not every plant actually loses its leaves. Lots of plants, like this western red cedar, are what we call evergreen, which means they don't lose their leaves at all in the fall. So what's different with plants like this big leaf maple? Well, the difference is actually the big leaves. Plants face two big challenges in the winter. First of all, in our part of the world, it can get really windy and really stormy. And if you have a big leaf like this, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to end up on the ground at some point. Big leaves like this also act like sails. And if you have a lot of these on your branches and you're a tree and a big storm comes, you're actually more likely to get blown over because your leaves catch the wind. The other reason that the trees drop their leaves has to do with water. At this time of year, it seems like there's nothing but water around. But in places where it gets cold and the water freezes, the plants can't actually get water from the ground because it's frozen. Have you ever tried to suck ice up through a straw? Doesn't work very well, does it? So because they can't get water through the ground, and those trees are losing water all the time through their leaves, if they keep their leaves, they could end up really turning into tree raisins by the time we get to Christmas. So the trees that do lose their leaves, which we call deciduous trees, they get rid of these to be safer in the winter and also so they don't lose so much water. The evergreen trees, like the cedars and the Douglas firs, have such small needles that they don't have to worry so much about how big their leaves are. But what they do to save water is they have a waxy coating on top of their needles, so they just don't lose as much water. So that explains why the trees drop their leaves, but maybe you're wondering why they change color. The reality is, they don't actually change color. Those colors we see in the fall are actually there all the time. Check this out. The colors in leaves come from something called pigments, and leaves actually have a lot of different pigments in them. They have orange pigments like my shirt, and those are called carotenoids. They also have yellow pigments, and those are called xanthophyll. Next, they have red pigments, and these ones are called anthocyanins. Do you want to try all those names with me? The orange pigments are called carotenoids. Try that. Carotenoids. Xanthophyll. Xanthophyll. That's the yellow one. And the red pigments are anthocyanins. Carotenoids, xanthophylls, and anthocyanins are always in leaves. But they're kind of competing with this other pigment, and there's a lot of it. It's the green one, and it's called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment, and it doesn't just make leaves pretty, it helps leaves make food. But chlorophyll doesn't work if we don't have sunshine, so it's kind of useless in the winter. In fall, when the trees are getting ready to lose their leaves, they stop making chlorophyll. And when the chlorophyll goes away, we can suddenly see all those other pigments that were actually there the whole time. Whether trees keep their leaves or lose them, whether they turn red, green, yellow, or rainbow, this time of year is all about these trees getting ready for winter. And I hope for you, it's about getting out into this beautiful fall color and having some fun with your friends. Hey! Ah!